My beloved child, tomorrow is not merely a new morning. It is the beginning of a life's journey transformed by my divine intervention. This is not a general announcement to the world. It is glad tidings addressed personally to you. I am leading you to a threshold, a point where you will either grasp what I have prepared or let it slip silently into a void never to return. I see your heart clearly, the paths you have walked, the wounds you dare not name. There were nights when you prayed but doubted if I was listening. There were moments when you smiled outwardly while your soul lay silent within. Yet, my child, in the very place that seemed extinguished, I am preparing a flame that cannot be quenched. What I am about to do will not merely alter outward circumstances. It will redirect the very course of your soul. You have lived long enough in repetition where each day is but a copy of the one before. You have grown accustomed to existing, forgetting that I created you to live with purpose. You say you are waiting for me, yet the truth is that I have long been waiting at the edge of your life. Unless you leave behind the old, do not expect the new to enter. The door is open, but you must summon the courage to step through. Tomorrow is not just another fragment of time. It is a sign from heaven. Each time the first light of day touches your skin, it is not merely morning sun. It is a reminder that grace still belongs to you. I am not asking whether you are worthy. I am asking whether you dare to believe and walk forward. For there are things you cannot win by effort, but only receive through surrender. And if you are willing, that broken life of yours will be replaced by a journey no force can stop. You think what happens around you is random, but I want you to know nothing occurs without purpose. There is no turn in your life's path that I have not already marked. What you see as wasted moments, I see as preparation. A new day comes not only with sunlight but with spiritual movement, and if you are not alert, you will miss it. I am speaking of a beginning that will not only change what surrounds you but transform your soul at its root. The time has come to close the old chapter, not with regret, but with certainty. This was ordained by the Lord for me from the very beginning. My beloved child, how many times have you opened your eyes to a new morning, yet never truly awakened? Your body stirred, but your soul still slumbered in faded dreams. You have lived through days as though nothing awaited ahead, as if I, the creator of time itself, had not woven divine appointments into your journey. Yet I tell you today, no day is empty, no morning is by chance. Some days I mark with my very hand, and you now stand at the threshold of such a day. I know you are accustomed to postponing change. You whisper to yourself, perhaps tomorrow I will begin again. But how many tomorrows have passed, and still you have not stepped forward? Do not let the habit of living in standby mode rob you of the future I prepared. Each time you ignore my call, your heart grows another layer of hardened shell. Continue in this way, and the day will come when you can no longer hear, not because I ceased to speak, but because you ceased to listen. As I declared in Isaiah 5:5-6, seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him while he is near. Do not wait for perfection before you change, for I am the one who makes all things whole. There was once a man who believed his life was sealed forever. His name was Naaman. A great commander, honored by many, yet stricken with leprosy no medicine could cure. Fame, power, wealth, all powerless before the wounds that consumed him. But in that very moment a humble servant spoke, if only my master would go to the prophet in Samaria, he would be healed. And what happened? After pride, doubt, and reluctant obedience, Naaman dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan River, and his skin was restored like that of a child. 2 Kings 5. From a man who thought his story had ended, he began anew, not because of river water, but because he obeyed a word from heaven. And you, my child, will you dare to step into your own Jordan River? Do not think that a new beginning is reserved for the strong and ready. I do not seek the flawless. I seek those who know they need my touch, those weary of striving alone, those who look at their lives and see that without me, everything is but an endless cycle. You need not begin again by yourself. I am your new beginning. I do not call you when you are spotless. I call you even in your turmoil, for I, myself, will untangle the knots. There are seasons in your life you thought were silent pauses, but they were pauses of grace. I did not abandon you in those dim days. I was tilling the soil of your soul, uprooting the tangled roots, preparing the ground for new seeds to bloom. And when the first rain falls, you will see the barren land was ready to blossom. Yet to embrace that beginning, you must close the old chapter with courage. You cannot carry old baggage into new life. The old must die that the new may live. I see in you regrets and unnamed fears. I do not condemn you for them. I understand, for I once saw my people stand before the Red Sea, enemies behind and an abyss ahead. They cried, "If only we had not left, if only we could return to Egypt." But just when they thought it was the end, I parted the sea. You need not understand everything to step forward. You only need to trust that I never call you where my grace cannot keep you. This new beginning is not a dream, it is a promise, and that promise awaits your response. Often what holds you back is not an outside force, but your memory of yourself. You think I have failed too many times, or I am not strong enough to begin again. But my child, I do not write your story on the basis of failure, but on grace. If I have forgiven you, why do you still carry judgment? If I have prepared a new chapter, why cling to the old? Do not let your past occupy the place I set aside for your present. Let me take the blank page. Begin today. Begin with me. Walk with me a little further, and you will see what awaits is not monotony, but life renewed each day. Yet before the harvest comes, you must learn to see through a new light. Only when you allow me to redefine what a new day is will dawn cease to be a repetition and become a summons, not to the fields of routine, but to the field of glory where I call you to sow your first steps. And when your feet are ready to leave where you have stood, I will remind you of the times I comforted you in trial, not to sadden you, but to show that every loss became soil prepared for the next season. Then you will see trials did not come to take from you, but to train your soul for something greater. Do you know not everyone who carries the cross collapses beneath it? It is precisely when you bow low, thinking you cannot rise again, that I place within you a strength you never knew. The burden does not paralyze you. It lifts you from self-reliance. It forces your gaze upward. It reminds you that without me, everything you try to hold will crumble. And it is in that very moment you learn to pray, not out of ritual, but out of survival. Prayers soaked in tears bear a weight that words on the lips alone never will. Remember when I led the people of Israel into the wilderness, it was not to punish them. I brought them into a barren land so they would learn, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Deuteronomy 8:3. They had to walk through emptiness to see that I am everything. So it is with you when you have nothing left to cling to. You will know that I am the steadfast rock. Those deserts are not meaningless blanks in life. They are places where I carefully shape your soul into the form I ordained from the beginning. You once asked me why me, and I asked you in return. If not you, then who? For I know you well. I know the fire you can endure. I know the limits you will surpass. I do not allow anything to come upon you unless there is a spiritual reward beyond it. You may not see it right away, but I have never lost sight of your life, not for a single moment. Pain does not make me turn away. On the contrary, I use it to draw you closer to me. And you will see, my love is not a sweet song. It is the warmth in a cold night, the strong arm in the midst of trembling. Trials do not come to test your strength, but to reveal my power. If you overcame everything by your own ability, you would believe you had no need of me. But when you face what is beyond your strength, only then do you encounter the supernatural. That is the very purpose of burdens, not to crush you, but to bring you into surrender. When you yield into my hands, you will receive a peace that does not come from circumstances, but from presence. Then the very place that once made you tremble will become the place where you learn to praise. Do not forget, my child, that in every storm there is always a vessel I have prepared, and sometimes that vessel is the steadfastness formed within you through trials. The waves that once terrified you will become the ground on which you walk firmly if your eyes remain on me. Just as Peter, when he stepped out of the boat and walked on water, what caused him to sink was not the storm, but the moment he looked away from me, Matthew 1:430. Do you see? It is not the wind that makes you fall, but a wandering gaze. Learn to look at me even when the waters rise to your knees. And the day will come when you look back and see that every sorrow was a rung of the ladder leading you deeper into my kingdom. Every rejection, every shattered dream, every sleepless night, all became the threads woven into a story I would use to touch others. You will no longer shrink back when speaking of pain, for it will no longer be a wound, but a testimony. And from what you once thought was loss, I will begin to do a new thing. My child, some things you think have slipped through your fingers are in truth being held back by me until you are mature enough to receive them with wisdom. Not every loss is an end. Some things I remove deliberately to protect you from what you cannot yet see. Some doors I close not to reject, but to safeguard. For in my love, delay is also a form of grace. And now, after your heart has passed through fire, after your eyes have been washed with tears, it is time for me to restore. Remember the widow at Zarephath. She had only a little flour and a little oil, just enough for a final meal before starvation. Yet at that very moment of lack, I sent the prophet Elijah, who said, "Make me a small cake first." It seemed an impossible demand, but her simple obedience opened the door to miracle. From that day forward, the jar of flour did not run out, and the jug of oil did not fail. 1 Kings 1:7, 1:4-16. Do you see, restoration does not come from abundance, but begins when you dare to offer the little left in your hand. Do not think that I will merely return what you lost. I do not work in symmetry. What I restore always comes in a new form at a different measure with deeper dimensions. I do not patch up the past. I create the present through resurrection power. A broken relationship I can heal. A shattered dream I can revive. Even time you thought was gone, I can compress it into supernatural moments of breakthrough. But you must believe this: nothing I restore ever returns as it was. Everything I touch bears the mark of glory. I do not only heal what is visible, I restore even what you did not know you had lost. Innocence in faith, spiritual longing, courage once burning bright. All that life seemed to extinguish, I will rekindle. I will cause your heart to beat again with heaven's rhythm. You will no longer live as a survivor, but as one sent. And from the barren place I will cause life to spring forth. For I do not rebuild from ruins. I make all things new. You once thought, perhaps this is for others, not for me. But my child, it is you who are the object of this miracle. For I do not restore to impress. I restore to realign purpose. What was broken I gather. What was taken I redeem. Not by your strength, but by the cross. Not because you are worthy, but because I love you too much to leave you in spiritual lack any longer. I will restore to you the years the locust has eaten. Joel 2:2-5. That promise today is yours. And when you begin to live again in hope, you will realize restoration is not only a gift, it is a weapon. You will rise not just to live, but to fight for those still in loss. Your story will become a refuge for other souls. And in that moment you will no longer ask, "When will I be healed?" but say, "Lord, use my very place of pain to heal another." For having tasted restoration, you are now sent to sow what you have received. Some restorations are not in what you regain, but in remembering who you are in me. The greatest tragedy is not the loss of possessions or time, but when one forgets the identity inscribed in heaven. I have seen you live as though you must prove yourself worthy of love. You step timidly into places I have already opened, still believing you are a beggar before the table of grace. But I want you to know I do not love you because you are good enough. I love you, therefore I will not let you live forever in forgetfulness of who you are. You once carried many callings in your heart, but over time other voices drowned them out. The voice of judgment, the voice of failure, the voice of rejection. They whispered, "You are not enough. You are too late. You are not the chosen one," and you believed them. You bent yourself under labels the world placed upon you. You chose silence when you were meant to speak. You bowed your head when I wanted you to rise. But my child, I did not make you to be a shadow. I created you to reflect my light. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God. 1 Peter 2:9. Not the names the world gave, but the name I called before creation. You do not need to run after recognition, for you have already been accepted. You do not need to strive to become someone, for you already are the one I named. When you live under a false understanding of yourself, you will choose the wrong places, the wrong people, the wrong purposes. But when you awaken to your true identity, you will know you do not need to push for a place, for I have already said it. You do not need to shout, for I have heard even your sigh. And as you walk in this awareness, every act, every word, every glance will be guided not by emotion, but by the holy meaning engraved in your soul. I know there are days when you feel lost, not because no one is beside you, but because you have lost yourself. You thought, if only I were like this person, if only I had the gifts of that one. But that is not what I want. I do not need a copy. I need you, whole with wounds, with questions, with unfinished dreams. For you alone carry the irreplaceable peace in my greater design. When you believe that insecurity will vanish, envy will lose its grip, and you will see yourself through my eyes, full of meaning, full of worth, not because of title or position, but because you are my child. Look at David, the forgotten shepherd boy in the fields whom no one in his family thought could ever be king, yet I saw him. When others measured by numbers, I saw potential. When he was not even called to the feast, I had already placed the oil in Samuel's hand, and I do the same for you today. You need not force your way in. I will send for you at the right time. You need not cry aloud. I have heard long before. But before I bring you into the open, I want you to understand this. In the hidden place, your identity is not in a role, but in relationship. Not in what you do, but in the love from which you were born. When you walk in that awakening, you will no longer compare, no longer perform. You will cease chasing applause and begin following the call. And then everything around you will change, not because the world has changed, but because your eyes have been anointed to see clearly. You will no longer live as one searching for a place, but as one carrying a mission. No invitation needed, for you know you are already chosen. No crowd required, for you already have me. And in that silence you will hear again an ancient melody, the song I sang over your soul from the beginning. Then you will remember, you are not an unfinished product. You are a sacred work in progress being brought to completion. And from the deepest place of that understanding, you will prepare for something that is about to come, not a stumbling in the dark any longer, but a revelation of what once seemed impossible. There are things I have written into your life, yet with trembling hands you have blurred them away simply because you believed the labels the world imposed on you. You let one careless word make you doubt yourself. A small failure made you think your destiny had already ended. A rejection silenced you in the very places where you were meant to speak. But my child, the light within you has never gone out. It was only hidden behind the clouds of doubt. And today I come to part those clouds so that you may see yourself again through the eyes of your Creator. You are not your mistakes. You are not what others think of you. You are not the version society has forced upon you. You are my image, a design breathed into being by the Spirit. I did not falter when I shaped you in your mother's womb. Every detail in you carries the imprint of a purpose. Yet you have lived too long under the distortion of borrowed identities to the point where you no longer recognize yourself. Do not walk another step forgetting the one who named you before the world ever called your name. I remember a time when you stood among the crowd trying to blend in like a shadow. You did not want to stand out for fear that others would see the cracks in your soul. But it is precisely those cracks through which my light shines most clearly. You do not need to conceal them. You need to reveal them, not to boast, but to testify that my grace is enough. Like a clay jar with fractures, when filled with oil, the light seeps through the brokenness to shine for others. 2 Corinthians 4:7. Do you see, true identity does not come from hiding flaws, but from daring to let me use those flaws for my glory. Once I walked into the Garden of Eden and called Adam, "Where are you?" not because I did not know, but because Adam had forgotten himself. When you no longer live in the name I gave you, you begin to hide from me. You clothe yourself in the fig leaves of achievement, of reputation, of acclaim, but I am not deceived. I come to call you by name, not the one the world gives, but the one I have spoken in love. And I ask you today, where are you? Not your body, your soul. How long has it been since you lost yourself in trying to become someone else? My beloved, awakening to your true identity is not a fleeting moment of emotion. It is a daily choice to live authentically. When you know who you are, you will no longer be easily swept along by the crowd. You will no longer let failure define you. True identity is not measured by perfection, but by the unbreakable bond between you and me. And once you begin to live from that place, every lie will lose its power, every comparison will dissolve, and every false calling will no longer enchant you. Look at Gideon, a timid man hiding in the winepress, thinking himself the least of the weakest clan. Yet when the angel came, he was not called by what he felt, but by what I saw. Mighty warrior. Judges 6:1-2. So it is with you. When you were still insecure, I called you an influencer. When you doubted, I saw you teaching. When you withdrew, I saw you standing among the crowd, carrying the fire of the Spirit. You only need one thing to believe what I say about you more than what the world says about you. And you will see, when you walk in your true identity, you will not need to push open any door, for I myself will open them. You will not need to persuade anyone, for the heavenly confirmation will be enough for you. You will not need to prove yourself, for your heart has already been sealed by me. Then, when the appointed time comes, that identity will no longer be knowledge in your mind. It will become the very breath in how you live, speak, love, and act. You will become a living word, a light, a voice crying in the wilderness, not through striving, but because you have returned to where you belong in me. And from the stillness where you begin to hear my voice clearly again, you will feel what once you feared, revelation. But this time it will no longer be something that makes you tremble. It will be the gift you have longed for. My beloved child, if you think a new beginning is a path lined with roses, I must gently tell you, no, it is not. Before light reaches your life, there will be valleys of shadow you must pass through. Before harvest comes, there will be days of sowing and tears. And sometimes the greatest gift I give you is not an escape, but a place to learn, endurance to learn, trust to learn, to stand firm in the storm. That is the true meaning of trials. They do not come to destroy you, but to reveal what peace alone could never teach. You have blamed me for the burdens you have had to carry. But my child, has it not been those very burdens that made your steps steadier? Was it not in the darkness that you learned to recognize the light? If I gave you only days of ease, your soul would remain fragile like cloth, never stretched. But I desire you to grow not with the wisdom of the world, but with the depth of faith. Suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. Romans 5:3-4. This is not just a beautiful saying, it is the map for spiritual maturity. There was one who understood this better than most. Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers, falsely accused, forgotten in the dungeon. Yet do you see? In those dark years I was quietly teaching him how to lead, how to discern, how to keep his heart pure in a corrupt place, so that when he finally stood before Pharaoh, he was no longer the naive boy of yesterday, but a man seasoned by my hand. If I had placed Joseph directly on the throne, he would not have been strong enough to hold it. But because he had been forged in the fire, when glory came, he was not blinded. Do you see? The dungeon was not a punishment, it was a school. I know there are trials that do not come from sin or poor choices, but simply as part of a greater plan. You may not understand, and that is all right. I do not demand understanding, only trust that I am walking with you. I am not standing at the end of the road calling you forward. I am with you at every step. The burden you carry I do not leave you to bear alone. Every tear you swallow I count. Every night you pretend to be strong, I sit beside you and hold you in silence. And when you look back over the days gone by, you will see it was in the deepest pit that I planted the seed of faith. It was where you were broken that I built unshakable trust. I did not remove every storm, because if I had, you would never have learned how to believe. But I was always there, not to shield you from every stumble, but to turn each scar into a testimony. As long as you breathe, my mercy flows through the veins of your life. There will come a time when you no longer see trials as enemies but as old companions, harsh yet faithful. Then you will see that scars are not marks of shame but signs that grace once intervened. And I will use the very things that once brought you down to lift others who are on the edge. You will see trials never steal what is truly yours. They only strip away what does not belong, leaving behind what cannot be taken faith. And from the deepest place of sorrow I will awaken something within you, a longing to go on, not for recognition but because you know you have been taught by my hand. From then on you will look at burdens with different eyes, no longer as grievances but as whispers. Thank you, for it was here that I met you. And that will be the moment you are ready to see that what seemed like loss was being prepared for restoration, and then you will behold what your heart once thought impossible revelation. Not a shallow display for applause, but the unveiling of a soul shaped in silence, now stepping forth with a mission from heaven. When you know who you are in me, when your heart no longer craves the world's approval, that is when I will reveal you. Not so that you may be exalted, but so that I may be exalted in you. You will step into doors you once only dreamed of, not because you forced them open, but because I opened them. The words you once whispered in tears will become confirmations on the lips of others. The dreams you once buried in fear will rise again, not loudly but surely. You will see, my grace is not only sufficient, it overflows. And it will lift you to places your skill could never take you, but where heaven's choosing will carry you. Look at Jonah, the one who once fled from his calling, yet, in the end, stood in the midst of Nineveh proclaiming my word and leading an entire nation to repentance. What you see as failure may in fact become the stepping stone to glory if only you yield. I do not need your perfection to reveal myself through you. I only need your willingness. When you live as one who is sent, not as one seeking recognition, everything will fall into place. What no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, these are the things God has prepared for those who love Him. 1 Corinthians 2:9. You will be called to places you have never set foot, to sit at tables where you do not qualify to enter. But you need not fear. I will equip you every step of the way. When you speak, your mouth will carry fire. When you walk, the atmosphere will shift. Not because you possess strength, but because I am moving within you. And you will come to see revelation is not only a gift, it is a responsibility. I do not grant it to you for yourself alone, but that you may become light in the darkness, a voice in the silence, the extended hand of the kingdom in the midst of the world. This is the time, not to hesitate, not to calculate, but to walk forward. Prepare your heart, be ready for what I am about to do. Will even make you exclaim, how marvelous are the works of the Lord. And when that moment comes, do not look back with regret, but remember that it all began in a very quiet place, the place where you chose to trust me. And as all things seem on the verge of turning, do not seek the noise. What I do does not begin with fireworks or the sound of trumpets, but with the gentle breath of the Spirit, with a deep whisper discerned only by those who listen. When you keep your heart awake, I will speak. Not loudly, not with display, but enough for the weary one to know they are still called by name. And then you will see clearly what I reveal is not for you alone, but for an entire generation awaiting the footsteps of those who dare to believe. So then, my beloved, do not delay any longer. Do not let fear wear the garment of caution to keep you from moving forward. I am the one who opens the way, and I am the one who goes before you. When you step out of the shadows, the light will not only shine upon you, it will flow from within you, for I am there, and thus the final veil will be lifted. Not to showcase one person, but to glorify my name through a life that knows it has been called. You have waited long enough. Now is the time for you to rise, to step out, and to become what I have seen from the very beginning. No more doubt, no more shrinking back, only obedience and light. For now you yourself are the living testimony of what once seemed impossible, and I alone am the one who makes it reality. My beloved child, listen intently to what I am about to whisper into your spirit, for these are no longer words of comfort, but the alarm bell of a life about to awaken. The greatness I have prepared for you will not arrive with brilliance and clamor as you once imagined. It will not enter your life with applause or glaring lights. It comes quietly, yet weighty. It is not loud like the storm, but once it passes, nothing remains the same. I am doing the impossible in silence, like a seed breaking open beneath the soil, unseen, yet that is the very beginning of a forest. And you, my child, you are that forest. You may have thought revelation meant being recognized, seen, and heard by people. But I want you to know this true revelation does not begin on the stage, but in the secret place. It begins where you yield in silence, where you lay down your own dreams to embrace the purpose I give. It is the moment when you no longer need to prove your worth, because you already know who you are in me. When that happens, no power can keep you from the land I have promised. For the revelation I bring is not so you may be admired, but so that the world may be transformed through you. You think breakthrough means breaking the limits outside, but what I am doing is breaking the chains within. I am quietly loosening each layer of fear, each remnant of pain, each old voice that has blurred your true image in me. True breakthrough does not begin when the door opens, but when your heart opens to receive me as everything. When you stop seeking certainty from people and begin to place your full trust in me, that is when I will fling wide the door of destiny before you without you having to touch it. I am leading you into a season where everything seems beyond your reach, not to bewilder you, but to prove that nothing is beyond my reach. Opportunities are coming that you have not prepared for, responsibilities you once thought yourself too weak to bear. But do not let surprise make you retreat. I do not need you to appear ready in the eyes of men. I only need a willing heart. If you dare to step, I will do the rest. If you dare to say yes, I will pour out what has never been seen before. You will not walk this journey alone. I have sent to you those with kindred hearts, souls I have prepared beforehand. They carry within themselves the pieces to complete the picture you bear. They are not colleagues, not mere companions on the road, but fellow travelers chosen by heaven. They do not come to replace me, but to confirm me within you. They will see what others cannot see, believe what you still doubt, and strengthen you when your steps tremble. This is not coincidence, but a connection sealed by the Spirit, a bond that distance, misunderstanding, or trial cannot sever. Let me make this clear. You were never meant to carry the weight alone. Every callus on your hand does not make you stronger if it drives you into isolation. You may bear many responsibilities, but do not let yourself become a prisoner of your own devotion. I have not called you to do everything. I have called you to do what I assign, and what I assign I will provide. In that provision are co-laborers, encouragement, and rest. Do not reject help, for my presence dwells within it as well. As you begin to live in the revelation I prepare, you will witness strange wonders. Every word you speak will carry weight beyond language. Not because of eloquence, but because your words have been forged in silence with me. What you do will no longer be mere actions, but signs, small steps that make darkness tremble. And even you will be astonished, for what happens does not come from your strength, but from my power flowing through you. When you touch someone, healing will flow like a stream. When you stand still, the atmosphere will shift because my very presence within you is at work. I am making you a sign, not a showcase of talent, but a testimony of mercy. Those who once watched you fall will see you rise with a different gaze, a different voice, a different posture. Not because you became great, but because I, the Great One, am moving through you. And they will ask what happened. Then you will answer, this is the work of the Lord, and it is marvelous in my eyes. I do not need you to explain what I am doing. I only need you to bear it. And one more thing, child. Revelation does not come in a single moment, but as a stream. It does not arrive to make you stop and admire yourself, but to push you forward. You are a vessel, not the destination. What I pour into you is meant to flow out to a thirsty world. Therefore, do not stop at feelings. Do not dwell on small successes. I have much more, things never spoken, never imagined. What no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, what no heart has conceived, these are the things God has prepared for those who love Him. and you are one of them. When you step into true revelation, the promises of old will begin to connect. Questions long suspended in years of pain will find their answers, not in analysis, but in fulfillment. What you once counted as loss will become the link to new opportunities. Even what seemed delayed, I will gather and compress into a moment of destiny. Where time is condensed and postponed, harvests will burst forth together. In that moment, you will no longer chase after miracles, for you yourself will carry the miracle to others. And finally, my child, when all these things come to pass, when breakthrough arrives, when revelation is unveiled, do not forget to return to where it all began. Do not let the light of glory eclipse my gaze. Do not let busy hands forget the whisper of the Holy Spirit. Keep your heart tender. Live as though no one has known you, no one has invited you, no one has heard you, when all you had was one desire to bring delight to me. For that is where I will continue to meet you. That is where true power will continue to flow. And because you have learned to rest your heart in stillness now, I can entrust you with deeper revelations, things that had I spoken before, your heart would not have been still enough to receive. There are mysteries that cannot be revealed in noise, but are only heard when you bow your head, cease striving against yourself, and stop searching for answers where my voice does not dwell. You no longer need to chase after confirmations from others, for I myself have become the final confirmation within your soul. I have sealed what I have spoken not only with words, but with your very life, with the things I allowed you to endure, with the people I caused to leave, with the dreams I let shatter, and with delays that were never denials, but careful preparations. Do not grieve the past any longer, for I have never withdrawn my grace. I have only changed the season. My child, some left not because they were evil, nor because you were wrong, but simply because the road ahead no longer required them. They were part of your past, not the piece for your future. If you keep your hand clenched to hold on to what is old, how can you receive the new thing I am offering? Some doors must close for others to open. Some people must be released so that your heart may grow lighter, light enough to rise with me, free enough to step into something greater, deeper, more sacred. And if you insist on clinging to what I have removed, you will remain circling around a chapter that has ended, while the next page waits to be written with my breath. Do not fear when you find yourself alone in a season. Do not rush to fill the silence with shallow connections just because you cannot bear the quiet. For it is in that very silence that I am building what noise could never form. I am laying deep foundations, and foundations require stillness to set. I do not build houses upon applause. I build your life upon my promise. Enduring things are not birthed in the fever of fame, but in the perseverance of a soul that knows how to wait on me. And you have learned this. Now I can build what is truly lasting. Look at yourself. You are no longer the same. No longer a child easily wounded by the words of strangers. No longer swayed by a door that has not opened. You are now one who knows that my silence does not mean absence. You understand that delay is not denial, but preservation for the appointed time. And because you have endured barren lands now, I will make you a refreshing stream for others. You will not only be comforted, you will become the bearer of comfort. You will not only be healed, you will be the vessel through which I heal. Believe this, you are not lost. Every step, even those that seemed like mistakes, has been leading you to exactly where I desire. Even on the dark paths where you thought I was not there, it was I who placed your feet upon them, not to abandon you, but to teach you to find me in the night. For if your faith is strong only when you see me, then it is not truly faith. But if you keep walking, keep trusting, keep praying, keep loving, even when you hear nothing, feel nothing, then you have matured. And I delight in you. These days have not been wasted. Each passing moment has been my hands shaping you. Every tear has been part of my cleansing, washing away what you do not need. Each act of forgiveness toward those who hurt you has widened your heart to welcome purer fellowship. Each time you chose love over bitterness, patience over anger, humility over demand, you stepped closer to your true destiny in me. For I do not measure you by achievements, but by the transformation of your heart. And you are being transformed more beautiful, more holy, more like me with each passing day. From today onward, you will begin to hear more clearly. Not because I am speaking more, but because you have learned to be still within. The inner noise has quieted, allowing my voice to rise like a gentle wind across a field. You will see all things with new eyes, not eyes of fear and doubt, but the steady gaze of one who knows they are never forsaken. In every moment, however small, you will recognize my fingerprints in the sunrise, in the birdsong, in the breeze, in a stranger's glance, in the page of scripture that opens by chance. Even silence will no longer feel empty, but will become a sacred space where I dwell. And remember this, my child, I never speak without intending to fulfill. I am not human to promise and forget, nor unfaithful to speak and not act. If I have planted something in your heart, be it a dream, a vision, or a promise, I myself will bring it to fruit in its season. Even if it tarries, do not grow weary. Even if others doubt, do not be shaken. Even if voices rise to contradict what I have declared, hold on to this one thing: the Lord has spoken, and that is enough for me. I am leading you into a time when hidden things will be revealed, not for your fame, but for my name's glory. Not for your exaltation, but so you may be a living altar of my presence in a world that is groaning. And those who doubted you will have to look again and confess, this is the work of the Lord. You will walk not in the glare of fleeting brilliance, but in the steady light of my truth. No longer led by emotion, but by my guidance. No longer needing to explain, for my presence within you will be the answer. So, my child, let go of every regret. Release the last remnants of doubt. Do not let the voices of past failures drag you backward. You have been cleansed, chosen, and anointed not to merely survive, but to overcome. And that victory does not come by weapons or strategies, but by obedience. You need not strive to do great things, you only need to do the right thing. And I will do the rest. Now everything is falling into place. The scattered fragments of your life are forming a complete picture. The years that seemed wasted are becoming the foundation for revelation. The pain of yesterday is turning into a living sermon written in your very being, and the world will not be able to ignore it, not because you are loud, but because I am revealing you. Keep moving forward, do not look back, for I, the one who began the good work, will also bring it to completion. And what I have started in you, nothing can stop. My beloved child, do not let your heart tremble as I begin to unfold the great things you never imagined. I know they exceed your imagination, surpass your experience, and go beyond your preparation, but they do not surpass. My power and I am with you. Greatness never requires you to strain, to prove yourself, only to bow in surrender. What you are stepping into is not the result of your striving, but the fulfillment of a plan I set in motion from the beginning. What you now see, I prepared in the shadows. What you now touch, I have kept in heaven's treasury, until your heart was tender enough to receive. You once looked at your circumstances and wondered, is it too late, am I being left behind? But I say to you today, no. Nothing happens outside my timing. Every delay, every closed door, every silence has been to shield you not from opportunity, but from destruction. I did not let you be seen too soon, not because you were unworthy, but because what I have prepared requires a version of you mature enough to sustain it. And now that time has come. Winter has passed. The winds have shifted, the seed has broken its shell, and soon you will behold what your heart once only dared to whisper in prayer. Have you forgotten that I am the one who parted the sea by my own power, so that my people could cross over as on dry ground? Have you forgotten that I am the one who used 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed thousands of hungry souls? Have you forgotten that I shut the mouths of lions so Daniel could survive the night, and that I called the dead out of the grave as though calling a friend? Do you think something in your situation is too hard? No, my child. Nothing is too great for me, and nothing is ever too late for me. You are exactly where I want you to be, neither a step off nor a second astray. I placed you on this journey not to punish, but to equip. The days you felt forgotten were the very days I was training you. The places that seemed like setbacks were, in fact, where I taught you how to win without weapons. You learned how to pray when you had nothing left to cling to. You learned how to love when there was no return. You learned how to trust when nothing was clear. And because of these, I can now use you in ways you never imagined. You will be the miracle in someone else's life. You will be the living witness to a wandering generation that I am still working, still healing, still alive. You will lay hands on the sick, and they will recover, not because of your merit, but because my mercy will flow through you like living water. You will speak gentle words that strike with the force of thunder, because those words spring from your intimacy with me. Where there was once death, barrenness, and despair, you will step in and carry life like the first rains of spring. The atmosphere will shift because my presence in you will be too strong to ignore. Those who touch you will sense something extraordinary, not because you have become famous, but because you have become a bearer of the Holy One. You will walk into a room as usual, yet the air will feel different. No one will be able to explain it, but all will know something holy has just entered. You will not need to introduce yourself nor announce anything. Your humility will be your crown, your obedience, your armor. And I, yes I, myself will be the radiance around you. Questions will rise. Who is this one? Why does peace overflow when they appear? And they will have no choice but to recognize, here is one who has been with God. Here is one who fell, but did not remain in failure. Here is one whose lips carry fire and whose eyes shine with light. Do not try to understand it all, my child. Just believe. Let me handle the impossible, and you walk in obedience. You will move as if you know everything, yet in truth you only know me, and that is enough. For when I lead you, you will never be lost. And when I speak, my word will never return void. Every word I have spoken to you through dreams, through scripture, through others, even through silence, is beginning to take form. Not in some distant future, but now, here, today. You once asked me to change your circumstances, but I have been changing you. And as you change your circumstances, we'll follow. This is the true miracle, not an instant shift outside, but a transformation from within. You will begin to see with different eyes anointed to behold not only the natural, but the supernatural hidden in each moment. Your ears will be tuned to the subtle whispers of the Spirit, aligned to heaven's heartbeat. Your heart will no longer sway by the words of men, but only move by the sound of my voice. And I will do wonders. I will astonish those who once despised you. Not so you can retaliate, but so they may behold my heart, the God who uses the lowly for the high, the forgotten for the unimaginable. They will not be able to deny what I am doing. And what you once only dreamed, I will make reality. Not as a fleeting vision, but as a tangible kingdom on earth. Every step you take, every choice you make, every word you speak will become my tool to restore, to deliver, to bring hope into despair. So prepare yourself, my child. Enlarge your heart to hold the greater things I am about to pour out. Do not fear greatness, for it is not yours, but mine within you. Do not be troubled by increase, for it is the fruit of faithfulness. Do not shrink from the calling, for it is a privilege, not a burden. And do not look back, for what lies ahead is brighter than all you left behind. You are in the exact place I desire you to be. And now arise, gird yourself, and walk, for your time has come. And you will say, it was the Lord who did it. You will not be able to tell your story without pointing to my hand. Every chapter of your life, from darkness to light, from brokenness to wholeness, will be undeniable evidence that I am still at work. People will look at you and no longer doubt. The change will be too real, too deep, too enduring to be coincidence. You will not need to justify nor prove yourself. My very presence within you will be the answer to every question. Each step you take will be a living scripture. Every word you speak will carry the breath of life, not by knowledge, but through the intimacy between you and me. You will walk as a testimony, a torch in the night, and the lost will follow that light home. People will whisper of you, I do not know why, but there is something in this one that gives me hope. You will become a song that weary souls hum in the long night. Your story, marked by sorrow, failure, and miracles, will be a melody of hope to those who saw no way out. You will need no stage, no applause, just one person quietly listening to you speak of my faithfulness, and they will find the strength to rise once more. For you are not only a witness, you are the echo of hope in a desperate generation. And hear me clearly, my child, this new beginning is not only for you alone, it spreads like a wave. It touches your husband, your wife, your parents, your children, and even generations yet unborn. There are chains that have bound your family for years, fears, addictions, cycles of defeat, but I declare they end with you. You are the one I have chosen to break the pattern. You are the place where the bloodline is washed clean by the blood of the Lamb, and from you onward a new path begins. I know you have thought, I am not worthy. My past is too broken. My family is too chaotic. This goodness must be for others, not for me. But I ask you, who told you that? Did I ever say you must be perfect to be chosen? Do I seek the flawless? No, my child. I choose the weak to make them strong. I choose the fallen to rise and pull others from the pit. I chose you not because you were qualified, but because I am with you, and that is enough. From this day forward, your words will carry weight, not the weight of knowledge, but of experience. You will pray not with doubt, but with certainty. And your prayers will shake heaven and shift reality. You will declare life over your household, and death will retreat. You will anoint generations with blessings, and they will become a shield for your descendants in troubled times. What once destroyed your family will not cross the threshold again, for now there is a wall of fire, the promise I have spoken, the covenant I have sealed with you. You will no longer hear the whisper of the curse in the night. The accusations, the vague fears, the nameless sense of failure, all will be silenced by the resounding voice of truth. And the truth is this: I have chosen you. I have taken away your shame and clothed you with glory. I have replaced the tattered garments of your past with spotless white robes. You will no longer carry the burdens of your ancestors, but instead you will pass down freedom to your children. Picture this, my child, a generation standing upright because you have chosen to bow before me. A lineage walking in the light because you dared to step out of the shadows. Children will grow up with free minds and peaceful hearts because the one who went before them, you waged war against deception and triumphed through the truth. Do you see? This is no longer just about you. This is about transforming the entire inheritance. And I, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, am now also the God of your descendants. No sorrow is wasted, no tear is forgotten. Every prayer you whispered when no one saw, I have kept in the golden bowls of heaven. Every moment you forgave when others thought you weak, I recorded as the greatest act of strength. And now I am answering not with a small miracle, but with complete transformation. You will not only be healed, you will become a healer for your family line. You will not only be forgiven, you will become a carrier of forgiveness. You will not only step into a new season, you will lead your household into a harvest. So do not be surprised when you find yourself acting differently, speaking differently, thinking differently. It is not false, it is the evidence of true transformation. You once carried burdens that were never yours. Now I am lifting them from your shoulders. You will feel lighter, not because everything is perfect, but because you have learned where to lay it down. And when you release it, I will lift it. When you cease striving, I will intervene. And you will see what I am doing will not stop with you. A wave will sweep across your family. Those you thought would never believe in me will begin to seek me. Hearts that were once cold will suddenly grow warm. Rooms once filled with arguments will become places of worship. Children once anxious will know peace. For where my presence dwells, nothing can remain the same, and I am dwelling in your house. So lift up your head, my child. This is not the time to look back nor to count your losses. This is the time to prepare for the harvest. What you sowed in tears, you are about to reap with songs of joy. The prayers you prayed in loneliness, you will see answered among your loved ones. What I have promised, I will fulfill. What I have begun, I will complete. And what I speak today will be remembered by generations to come. I have declared freedom, and that freedom does not come and go. It is your inheritance, your guaranteed portion, sealed by the very blood of the Lamb. And who can take from you what I have engraved in heaven? No one, no circumstance, no person, no power can reverse what I have given. Therefore, my child, live as one who is chosen. Walk as one who has been made righteous. Love as one who has been forgiven. and proclaim not with a shout but with your life that your God is faithful. The impossible, yes, precisely that, my beloved one. I am speaking of what goes far beyond your imagination, beyond the plans and pathways you once charted for your life. What eye has not seen, what ear has not heard, what the heart of man has never conceived, that is what I am now unfolding. Long have you prayed, long have you longed, long have you secretly yearned. But you did not realize that even your boldest prayers only brushed the edge of the goodness I have stored. You have not yet seen the depths of what I have prepared. You have not yet imagined the magnitude of the vision I will reveal step by step. For if I were to show you all at once, your legs would tremble, and your tender heart could not bear the overwhelming weight of glory. Tomorrow it will not merely be another morning. As usual, it will mark a spiritual shift. A gate will open, a new era will begin. A fresh sound from heaven will echo into your soul. I do not say this to make you afraid or to burden you, but to make you ready. Ready like a mother preparing to give birth, knowing pain may come, yet life awaits. Ready like a soldier before battle, not in his own strength, but equipped by his king. And I, yes, I am the one who has prepared everything for you. What I am about to do will not trickle in piece by piece, but will pour down like a mighty waterfall long dammed up. What was once delayed will be delayed no longer. What doors once slammed shut will not resist my hand when I open them. You do not need to understand it all. I do not ask you to become wise. I ask you to become trusting. When I act, I do not act timidly. I do not experiment. I do not hesitate. When I speak, the universe aligns itself to my word. When I called light out of darkness, it did not delay. When I commanded the waves to be still, the sea obeyed at once. When I decree that the time has come, no power in heaven or on earth can hinder what I have ordained. And today I say to you, the time is now. This is the moment. Not someday, not when you feel better, not when circumstances change, but right here in your present state, I will do the extraordinary. I am preparing 3 great shifts, and each will overturn the way you perceive your life. First, I will restore, not by patching the broken pieces, but by making all things new. I do not glue together the cracked vessel, I reshape it from the beginning. What was lost, I will return not just in quantity, but in quality. Time you thought wasted, I will compress into acceleration. Opportunities you thought gone, I will replace with wide open doors, and you will see nothing in me is wasted. No past is beyond my use to write a new story. No failure is beyond my power to turn into a foundation of strength. The restoration I bring will astonish you, not because you deserve it, but because I am merciful. Second, I will redefine you. No longer one who lives under the shadow of the past, of others' words, or of fleeting emotions. You will begin to see yourself as I see you, not through the lens of fear, shame, or limitation, but through my eyes of compassion and power. I call you my beloved, my valued child, one set apart for a purpose greater than yourself. I do not call you a failure. I call you a victor in me. I do not call you a sinner. I call you righteous through the blood of the Lamb. And once you begin to live from that identity, not striving to reach it, but receiving it, your thoughts, actions, and decisions will transform in wondrous ways. Third, I will reveal, not to make you boast, but that I may be glorified through you. Not through empty words, but through a fruitful life. You will see the things I placed within you begin to bloom. Dreams you thought buried will sprout again. Ideas once rejected will become solutions for others. What you once feared to voice will become a trumpet of declaration. You will walk into places you thought you did not belong. You will sit at tables you once only observed from afar. Not because you lifted yourself up, but because I am raising you into a new sphere of influence. You are not a light to draw attention, but a light to guide the way. And in all of this, you will know this is not the work of your hands, but mine. No one will look at the outcome and say, it was luck, or it was skill. For every trace will bear the mark of the supernatural. You will tread on ground you have never walked before. You will face what once terrified you with authority, with peace, and with love uncalculated. You will know when to stay silent, and when to rise, because my Spirit will guide every detail. And you will live each day with a deep awareness I am in the will of my Father in heaven. I know that change always comes with challenge. Every new level requires new surrender. Every step forward demands something to let go. But I promise, what you release cannot compare to what I will place in your hands. You lose nothing by entrusting it to me, and what you call sacrifice is in truth only an exchange of glory. You will never be abandoned in the process. For I am not only the beginning, I am the finisher. I will walk with you day by day, decision by decision, battle by battle, and you will never fight alone. So my child, be courageous. Do not let greatness make you afraid. Let it make you trust. Do not look at yourself and feel small. Look at me and see my greatness within you. For it is when you are weak that I will be strong. When you do not know the way, I will be the light. When you are weary, I will be your strength. You do not need all the answers, you only need me. And I always am enough. Prepare your heart, for the movement has already begun. Lift up thanksgiving even before you see anything change, because faith does not need to see in order to believe. Faith makes the unseen come into being. And once I have spoken, my word will not return void. It will accomplish my will. It will create life. It will alter history. And you will stand in the midst of that flow, not as an observer, but as a participant. That is your portion. That is the glory I bestow. That is the destiny no one can steal. Yes, my child, beginning tomorrow, the stage of your life will no longer be a place of silent disappointments or futile efforts, but the place where my glory is displayed in living color. This is not exaggeration, but the truth I declared before you even understood where you stood. The 3 great shifts I have prepared do not come slowly like a quiet dawn. They come like thunder cracking through a clear sky, like a sudden wave surging across a shore that once seemed dry. And when they come, you will know. No more doubt, no more hesitation. Your whole soul will tremble, not with fear, but because you will be touched by something too vast, too holy, too wondrous. So much so that what you once hoped for will seem small compared to the reality revealed, and your lips will burst forth like the psalmist of old. Indeed, this is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in my eyes. You have believed in silence, believed while all evidence around you seemed to deny it, believed through tears, believed even when you felt nothing at all. And now, my child, that faith will become your eyes to see. For faith is not only waiting, faith is the doorway to revelation. And that door I have now opened, not because you were good enough, but because the appointed time has come. And the first change I want you to be ready to embrace is restoration. Not a half-hearted, reluctant, temporary restoration, but the restoration done. My way, the kind that makes hell fall silent and heaven erupt in song. You thought some things were lost forever. Perhaps a spring stolen by mistakes, an opportunity that slipped away before you had courage, a loved one gone before the words could be spoken, a dream that withered under the cruelty of reality. You have learned to stay silent about these things, not because the pain is gone, but because hope seemed gone. Yet I say to you, I never lose anything I intend to use. Everything in your life, whether good, broken, or scarred, I have gathered into my hand, weaving it into what no one else could foresee. Not one tear of yours was wasted. Not one sigh went unheard. Not one silence without my presence beside you. And now I declare these things will not only be returned, they will be redeemed. To redeem means I will turn bitterness into sweetness, lack into abundance, brokenness into testimony of supernatural healing. The years you thought were wasted, I will compress them, press them down, and accelerate them as though time itself must bow before my power. The opportunities missed, I will open doors no one can shut. The dreams you folded away in the deepest drawer, I am unfolding, breathing life into them again, and this time they will not be killed by doubt or fear. The relationships that shattered, I will bring restoration, not in the old way, but in a new way, not to return as before, but to step into something better. Not everyone will come back to you, but I will bring justice to every wrong. And in some cases, I will place new connections in your life, pure, genuine, purposeful, to replace those that wounded you. I know you have blamed yourself. You thought, If only I had chosen differently, if I had been braver, if I had awakened sooner. But my child, hear me clearly, nothing surprises me. What you thought was detour, failure, or ending, I wrote into the design with infinite wisdom. No one can ruin my plan for you, not even you, when you turn back and say, Lord, let your will be done. And you have said it, you have surrendered, you have repented. So now I no longer remember those mistakes. I only remember the prayers you whispered in the dark. And I come to restore with mercy, with power, with my name itself. Prepare yourself, for the restoration I bring begins within. I will heal the wounds you thought were scarred over. I will lift the parts of your soul that had collapsed. I will restore your confidence, your joy, the childlike faith, and the delight in living that the world tried to steal. I will give you back laughter, not the forced smile that hides pain, but laughter from a healed soul. You will begin to feel lighter, though circumstances may not yet change. You will begin to sleep peacefully, though trials still remain. For the peace I give does not come from the outside, but from the certainty I am restoring day by day, step by step, and then you will see outward signs. A door opens where once there was only a wall. An opportunity returns when you had no more hope. An unexpected call, an email, an invitation, a hug, a conversation that seems accidental but in truth is my arrangement. These little things will be the bells ringing to announce restoration's arrival. And when you see them, know this, it is only the beginning. My restoration is not a patchwork to make things fit. It is a complete transformation for eternal purpose. I do not only restore what is material, I restore dreams, honor, faith, and even your love for me that was once lost through hurt. I will reclaim the purity that was stained. I will return the trust you once gave wrongly. And this time I will set you on the rock firm, unshakable, not blown away by feelings or circumstances. You will rise not as a survivor, but as a victor. Not as one barely forgiven, but as one anointed for service. Not to prove anything to anyone, but that my glory may shine through you. My child, this restoration is not only for you, it is for the generation after you. For the children who will learn to trust a God who restores. For those watching you silently who will find hope when they see you rise. Your story will not end in brokenness. It will continue into a new chapter where grace writes every line. And then you will become a vessel to restore others. You will say, I have been there, I have lost, but now the Lord has restored all. And these words will not be theory, they will carry weight because they flow from living truth. Do you see, what was lost was not truly lost? I only kept it prepared, it ready to return it in a way no one could imagine. And now I begin. Open your heart, receive, let me restore. No need to rush, no need to cling. Just believe and walk with me. Not only returned, but redeemed, better, deeper, purposeful. My child, what I prepare for you is not a replica of what once was, not a patch or a temporary replacement, but something wholly new, refined by fire, anointed with holiness, and established to bring glory to my name. You will receive again what you once wept over, not in its former shape, but in a new form, whole, meaningful, and eternal. I am the Lord who restores the years the locusts have eaten, as written in Joel 2:5, and I am faithful to my word. When I restore, I do not do so carelessly. When I return, I do not measure by human standards, but I multiply according to my boundless mercy. And I declare this, what was once broken will not return in its old form. I do not patch cracks with fragile clay. I recreate, I transform, I make all things new. Relationships once thought irreparably shattered will begin to heal, not by striving, not by your excessive effort, but by my hand skillfully mending what belongs to me. Those who seem to turn away, I will draw back with the same love I used to keep you when you longed to give up. Doors long closed will open again, not by your knocking, but by the key I place in your hand. And when you step in, you will not have to fight for a place, for the welcome will be different, not born of courtesy, but of destiny. Not because others felt moved, but because I moved them. Even time itself, yes, even the years that seemed wasted, I will compress into sudden breakthroughs. What takes others 10 years to build, you will see formed in one. What seems to require a lifetime to reap, I will cause to blossom in a season. For I am the Lord of time, and time cannot limit my power. You will look back and wonder, how could everything come together so quickly? You will see pieces once scattered now fitting perfectly, as though they had always been waiting for their moment. You will say, but Lord, I do not understand how this is returned. And I will smile at you and say, I was never finished. You thought the chapter closed, but I had only turned the page. There are moments when you think I have been silent. There are days when it feels as though the heavens have closed and your prayers cannot even break through the ceiling above you. Yet it is in those very silences that I am rewriting the script. It is precisely when you see nothing that I am moving most. Humanity looks at actions, but I look at process. And every process requires a time of hiddenness, a time of waiting, a time of being misunderstood. But now, my child, the time of hiding has ended. The waiting has been fulfilled. What was delayed is no longer withheld. The heavens are open, and I am pouring out, not drop by drop, but rising like a swelling tide. I allowed some things to fall apart, not because I desired your pain, but because they were built upon sand, and when the storm came, they could not endure. I am not the one who sustains what is temporary. I am the builder who establishes upon foundations that endure. I allowed them to collapse so that when they are rebuilt, they will not be formed out of fear, out of the expectations of others, or out of selfish ambition. They will be established by my word, by my will, by my presence. I permitted those things to be taken not to harm you, but to create space for what is coming. You cannot carry the old burdens and still receive the new gift. You cannot cling to ashes and also wear the crown. You must feel the emptiness, so there will be room for fullness. Blessing cannot be poured into a vessel already filled with what is old, and you now are the new vessel, cleansed, open, and ready. You will see that what I give is not a replica, but something never before seen. New ideas, new connections, new journeys. I will open pathways you never imagined, linking you to people whom only my divine design could align. I will restore even what you did not realize you had lost: your innocence, the simplicity of faith, the eagerness to follow me without calculation. You will begin again not from nothing, but from a foundation of deep maturity. A beginning stripped of old baggage, carrying only my word and my presence. My child, I am never late. What I do in its appointed time. And this restoration will come like a cool breeze in the heat of midday. Not loud yet undeniable. Not rushed yet impossible to ignore. Those around you will see it. They will ask, what has changed in you? And you will simply smile, for no words will suffice to describe what I have done. You will only say, the Lord has moved, and wondrously it is more beautiful than words can hold. This restoration, beloved, is not for your comfort alone. It is entrusted to you as a mission. It comes so that you may carry restoration to others. You will become a voice for the broken. You will be a living testimony that God does not abandon anyone in the ruins. Your story will become a bridge for the hopeless to cross over into hope again. You will not speak from theory, but from experience. Not teach with intellect, but with a heart that has been healed. And when you speak, the atmosphere will shift. Your words will carry weight, not because of you, but because I am within you. So, open your heart. Do not resist. Do not let the past hold you back. Do not allow pain to block the gift. Forgive, release, receive. Believe this: what was lost is not truly lost. What has died is not truly dead. In me, all things can live again. And this resurrection will not be fragile or slow. It will be powerful, unstoppable, and filled with glory. Now, as you have made room, sometimes through force, sometimes through pain, you are ready. I know you did not willingly let go of everything. Some things I had to pry from your hands through tears. Some bonds I had to break even as you clung with your whole heart. But my child, it is in those empty spaces, in those unhealed wounds, that the ground becomes soft enough for me to plant the new. Restoration has already begun, not tomorrow, but in the very moment you surrendered. You thought I acted only when you saw results, but no, I began the moment you yielded. And now, since you have released the old, the new is free to grow. Restoration begins today. It will come in ways you cannot predict, in areas where you have stopped praying, in corners of your heart that you forgot still ached. It is not merely an outward renewal, it is a reset at the deepest level of your spirit. Old memories, words you once believed as truth, labels others placed upon you, all will begin to fade away, like mist dissolving under the sun, like shadows retreating before the light. And then you will see yourself more clearly, not through a dim mirror, but through my eyes. And that is when the second transformation begins, the unveiling of your true identity in me. My child, for too long you have defined yourself by circumstance, by mistakes, by the opinions of others, or by the weight of the past. You have doubted yourself. You have wondered whether you missed your calling, whether you are worthy, whether you are seen. You have carried the silent question day after day, who am I truly in God's eyes? I hear that question not from your lips, but from the cry of your heart. You strive, you repair, you labor to become worthy. But you never had to earn your identity, you were always meant to receive it. For I did not wait for you to be perfect before I called you. I named you in the midst of your imperfection. I did not wait until you overcame every trial to grant your calling. The calling itself is what carries you through the trials. You are not your mistakes. You are not what others have spoken over you. You are not your weakness, your failures, or the past you tried to bury. You are the one I have chosen, the one I call by my own name. A creation wonderfully woven, set apart for eternal purpose. Before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before any hand touched your form, I had written your name in the book of life. You did not arrive here by accident, you were sent. Not merely to exist, but to influence. Not to vanish into the crowd, but to walk with the authority of one marked by heaven. I know you do not always see this. There are days when you feel so small you seem invisible. Nights when you feel like a burden even to yourself. But I see you clearly in every detail. I see the potential I planted in you, like a seed waiting beneath the soil for its appointed season. Do not compare yourself to another. You were not made to be a copy. You are a unique design carrying a piece of my heart, an irreplaceable part of my grand plan. If you do not step into your place, something will be missing. No one else can fulfill what has been entrusted to you. Let me remind you plainly and firmly who you are in me. You are the light of the world, the salt of the earth. You are heir to the promises of the fathers. You are a temple of the Holy Spirit, the work of my hands, the one I love with everlasting love. You are not only forgiven, you are adopted, justified, and given authority to tread upon serpents, scorpions, and every power of the enemy. This is not because you have done well enough, but because I paid the price with the blood of my Son. Who then dares to say you are not enough? Who can call you unworthy when I have called you beloved? From this day, stop speaking of yourself as ordinary. Stop diminishing your worth to please others. Stop apologizing for your existence. Stop asking permission to walk in authority. I did not call you to bow your head and shuffle through life. I called you to lift your head, not in pride, but in certainty of belonging. You are not a beggar for mercy. You are heir to spiritual treasure. You are not one who always needs support. You are one who will uphold others. You are not merely surviving, you are one sent forth with a mission. Beloved, identity is not revealed through the words of others. It is revealed when I open the eyes of your spirit. It comes when you begin to believe that what I say about you is true, even when your feelings resist. It comes when you no longer live to satisfy people, but to please me. And in that moment, transformation happens. Your perspective shifts. The way you speak, the way you walk, the way you face, challenges, everything is reshaped. Not because of striving, but because you now see yourself through the lens of my kingdom. You will come to realize that every lesson, every trial, every barren season has led you here to the revelation of who you are in me. For only then can you truly live with purpose. Only then will you no longer be swept up in comparison in the winds of opinion, in fleeting praise or criticism. When your identity is anchored in me, you will be steadfast as Mount Zion, unshaken by storms, unbroken by circumstance. When others panic, you will stand firm. When others turn back, you will move forward. For you know you are a child of the King. I am awakening this truth in you. You may have forgotten, but I have not. You may have buried your calling beneath work responsibility or shame, but my voice still calls. And this time you will not only hear with your ears, but with your heart. You will not respond with fear, but with faith. And you will rise, not to be noticed, but to obey, not to be praised, but to live in the truth I planted in you from the very beginning. From this moment on, everything will change. The way you see yourself will affect the way you see others. The way you perceive your own being will determine how you pray, how you serve, and how you live. This new identity, the true identity in me, will become the framework for everything you do. And when you stand firm in it, no one will be able to shake you. You will no longer react out of wounded pride. You will respond with kindness. You will no longer strive to prove anything, for I myself have affirmed you. You will no longer live in uncertainty, because you have stepped into the light of truth, and then wonders will begin to unfold. The things that once made you tremble will lose their power. The limitations you once accepted will be shattered. The masks you once wore will fall away, and you will live, not as one pretending to have faith, but as one who truly knows who they are. In freedom and holiness, in boldness and in reverence. I call you, not by position, not by ability, but by my name, and my name never fails. Therefore, my child, walk forward in a new identity, in new power, in the profound understanding that you belong to me. And that is a truth no one can take away. But starting tomorrow, a new awakening will bloom within you, like dawn slowly lifting its light over dark mountains. It will not be loud, not sudden, but clear and undeniable. You will no longer see yourself through the labels the world has placed upon you, but through the way I call you. And the names I give you are neither fragile nor fleeting, for I call you beloved, worthy, chosen, royal, and set apart for me. I call you my vessel, my voice, my hands, and my light in the midst of darkness. As you begin to walk in that identity, everything around you will shift. You will carry a different countenance, not from pride, but from holy assurance. You will no longer bow your head in apology for the light within you, nor bend yourself to fit into places I never intended you to go. You will no longer crave acceptance, for you will know you are fully holy and eternally accepted by me. That awareness will astonish you about yourself, for you will step into rooms and wonder why people look at you differently. You will speak and not recognize your own voice, because it will be I speaking through your lips. I will clothe you with wisdom beyond your years, grant you discernment not born of learning but of the Spirit. Ideas will visit you in your sleep, solutions to problems will flow from your heart before your mind can grasp them. And then you will realize this is not confidence but conviction, not because you know who you are in the eyes of people, but because you know who you are in my eyes. No longer walking according to applause or the gaze of the crowd, but guided by the whisper from heaven. Each morning you will awaken knowing clearly the reason you are here. No more confusion, no more wandering. You will sense my presence like breath in your chest. You will learn to distinguish my voice among the noise. And when I speak, you will know it is me, not by sound, but by the stirring of your soul. You will no longer feel you must run a race. You will walk at the pace of grace. Not faster to impress, not slower out of fear. Everything within you will harmonize with the rhythm of heaven, and others will notice the difference, not because you try to appear spiritual, but because they will encounter life. Life flowing from me through you like a spring that never runs dry. You will be used to refresh weary souls, to quench thirst the world cannot satisfy, and not through sermons, but through your very presence. For now you no longer live for yourself, you live in me. And in me you find everything you need. No longer chasing value, for your worth has been sealed in blood. No longer striving for reputation, for my name upon you is enough to make powers tremble. You do not need to try to be special, for you have been wonderfully and fearfully made, and that cannot be stolen, erased, or replaced. You will see the things that once confused you, now will be made clear. Doors once shut will open without your knocking. People who once turned away will return asking you the secret of survival. Yet what matters is that you will not be dazzled by it, for you will know it is all from me. Not by your strength, not by your plans, but by the marvelous design of the Father above. You will learn to live in glory without being consumed by it. You will learn to touch success without being changed by it. For your identity does not come from what you achieve, but from the one who chose you before you ever accomplished a thing. There will be moments when you feel unworthy of what is happening, as though you are merely watching someone else live your life. But remember, I have prepared it all for you, not for you to only see, but to enter in. Not for others to receive while you remain on the sidelines, but for you to stand at the center of heaven's movement on earth. And when you grasp this, a new stream will flow forth, a stream of spiritual boldness, no longer trembling prayers, no longer hesitant steps, but strides that are strong, decisive, and full of authority. I will surprise you, not with loud miracles, but with profound transformations of mind. You will begin to think differently, speak differently, live differently, and you will realize this is truly who you are. Not the one of fear, of shame, of weariness, but the child of the King, the heir, the one entrusted with authority, the bearer of the shepherd's image in the wilderness. And nothing can obscure this, not failure, not criticism, not the past. For once you know who you are, even hell itself cannot make you doubt again. I have waited for this day, the day you no longer live by the names others gave you, but by the name I placed upon you. The day you walk not out of fear of missing a step, but out of faith that every step has been ordained. The day you no longer seek miracles outside, but recognize the greatest miracle is the transformation within, and that is when you become a living testimony. No need to shout, only to be present. For wherever you pass, light will drive out darkness. Wherever you stand, peace will replace chaos. Wherever you open your mouth, life will arise. Hold fast to this identity. Let it be the foundation of every choice. Do not let bitter words drag you back to old ground. Do not let enticing calls pull you away from truth. Do not let fleeting emotions blur your eternal vision. You have been renewed, not only in heart but in nature. You have been anointed, not to be exalted but to serve. You have been chosen, not because you were skilled enough, but because I saw one I could trust, and that is enough. From this day, live as one whose name has been called. Walk as one who carries royal authority. Speak as one who knows heaven has affirmed them. For that is what unlocks the promises, not through striving, but through surrender, not through effort, but through trust. And from that very depth, the impossible will rise, not only through you, but from within you, and the whole world will know this is the work of God. People will ask you where you learned these things, and you will answer that you never studied them, but all was given. This is not mere confidence, it is revelation, and it will break years of false humility, of self-doubt, and of fear. For when you know who you are in me, you cannot be bound by human opinion. When you walk in my truth, no lie of the enemy can chain you. I am raising you to be a voice in the wilderness, not an echo. You will no longer reflect the noise of earthly culture, but resound the truth of the kingdom. And you will not merely survive by clinging to promises, but shine by becoming the promise itself. And this identity will not only change how you see yourself, but how others see you. Those who once overlooked you will now be drawn, for they will see the fire in your eyes, the steadiness in your steps, and the authority in your words. But remember, it is not for them, not for recognition. This new identity is for purpose, not applause, for mission, not status. You will carry healing in your presence, truth in your voice, and myself in all you do. From now on, you will no longer live under the shadow of old labels. You will no longer be bound by the past, nor enslaved by circumstance. You will step into places you once only dreamed of. For I am the one who makes a way in the wilderness and streams in the desert. Your new identity is not built on human words, but engraved by my hand. And as you live true to it, you will see every chain fall, every closed door swing open, every wall that hid you crumble. No one can steal what I have placed within you. No power can shake you when your roots are planted deep in my name. And what I have begun in you, I will bring to completion. Look back, see how far you have come. Look ahead, for where I am leading you is greater still. Do not fear when greatness comes knocking, for you do not enter it alone, I go with you. You do not step up to boast, but to testify, not to be seen, but to shine forth light. I have not called you out to blend in, but to stand out, not with arrogance, but with humility, with love, with righteousness. Your identity will not force others to bow in fear, but lift them in hope. You will become a pillar for wandering souls. And this comes not from how much you do, but from how deeply you know who you are. Every step you take will echo in eternity. Every decision you make will carry sacred meaning, for you have been consecrated. From this day forward, I will no longer measure myself by the successes of others. I will no longer yearn for what was never meant to be mine. I will rejoice in the differences, for those very differences are the evidence of your special choice upon my life. When I know who I am in you, I will have nothing left to prove, and as I walk in that truth, I will not be swayed by either praise or criticism. I will be freed from the need to please everyone, and that is true freedom. Freedom to live, to obey, to soar without being held back by fear. My presence will alter the atmosphere, not because I carry a unique aura, but because you dwell within me. My words will carry weight not from volume, but from truth. My footsteps will not thunder loudly, yet they will leave an indelible mark. For I was destined to be a guide, not through striving, but through serving. Not through power, but through authority. Not through force, but through persuasion born of love and truth. I will begin to see life with new eyes, no longer through the lens of limitation, but through the vision shaped by eternity. I will notice what others overlook. I will believe where others doubt. I will stand firm where others surrender. For my identity will no longer sway with emotion, but remain steadfast as a rock in a stormy sea. And I will teach others the same, not with instruction, but with the life I live. Not with theory, but with reality revealed through me. My child, the world does not need more copies. The world needs those who know who they are in me. For only then can you step out of your comfort zone without fear of being lost. Only then can you love without needing love in return. Give without fear of loss. Live without needing to prove yourself. And you will enter a season where spiritual understanding will overflow. You will not need reminders of your calling, for every breath you take will echo it. You will not need validation from man, for every heartbeat within you already bears witness to what I have spoken. This identity is not a garment for special occasions, but your very skin, eternal, genuine, alive. Whoever touches you touches me. Whoever looks at you sees my reflection. Whoever listens to you feels my love flow through every word. And you will no longer live under the tyranny of not enough. For you will know, I am enough, I am all, and you are in me. That cannot be taken away. In the secret place I have prepared you. Through long nights, through tears, through falling and rising again, I have taught you what no book could teach. And now as you rise with all these truths crystallized in your blood, in your tears, in the fire of trial, this is the moment you live as one who knows you are chosen. Do not shrink back from this calling. Do not fear when others do not understand. Do not tremble when the enemy roars, for you do not walk alone, and your true identity is what makes hell tremble and heaven rejoice. Hold fast to it. Live true to it, and you will see everything else will be added. Now listen, my child, for the third unveiling will be what once seemed impossible. It is the manifestation of promises once beyond your reach, the things you believed in, but only whispered, the dreams you buried because they seemed too vast, the visions you carried that none could comprehend, the passions still burning in. Your heart, though, all around you was cold. Yes, those impossible dreams will begin tomorrow. You will wake, and slowly, steadily, you will see movement. Doors will open without knocking. Favor will follow you into places you never qualified to enter, everything arranged so precisely that no explanation will suffice except my hand. You will be given opportunities you never asked for, be seated at tables you never thought to join, be called to tasks beyond your strength. But do not fear, for I will equip you at every step. My grace does not only sustain you in hardship, but ushers you into destiny. Many will marvel and ask, how can this be? And you will know, not by might, not by power, but by my Spirit. For what man deems impossible is always possible with me. You have been faithful in little, and now I entrust you with more. But I will never place on you what you are not yet ready to carry. What once frightened you, what once made you retreat, will now be the very places you step into with peace. You will no longer strain to force doors open, for doors will open of themselves. I will shake ancient foundations, I will move walls thought immovable. Not to overwhelm you, but to show you this: when I speak, nothing can remain unmoved. And you will see. No need to shout, no need to contend, no need to prove anything, for I am the waymaker, and you need only follow. This revelation will not come as a sudden flash that fades, but like dawn, slow yet unstoppable. From tomorrow you will watch the pieces fall into place. Delays will turn into movement. Promises thought forgotten will awaken, and you will realize that every pause was never punishment but preparation. Preparation for a revelation that will not just change your circumstances but redefine how you see yourself. You will be led where others cannot go, for they do not carry the anointing you bear. You will speak words others cannot utter, for I have placed my voice in your mouth. And when that comes, do not be surprised if doors you once expected from certain hands open instead from unexpected directions. For I am not bound by the systems of this world. I need no old pathways. I have my own way, always on time, always carrying glory. Walls that once blocked you will become billboards of my power. Places that once rejected you will become places of honor. But remember, that honor is not for you, but for me within you. Eyes will not linger on you, but look through you and see me. And that is my desire, not to exalt you for your own glory, but to lift you so that through you I am made known. You will show mercy where judgment was expected. You will speak restoration where there was ruin. You will bring life where all declared death, not by your strength, but by the life within you, not by talent, but by obedience. And it is in your weakness, in your insufficiency, that I will do great things. For I choose the weak to shame the strong, the lowly to confound the lofty. This is how I have always worked, and now I am doing it through you. You will no longer ask, how can this be? For you will see each thing unfold before your eyes. You will no longer need to imagine, for your eyes will see, your ears will hear, your hands will touch. What was once a dream will now be reality. And that reality will carry a weight, not a weight to crush you, but the weight of glory that bends you in worship. For you will know no one but me could have done this. Every debt you carried in your heart, not only money but unfulfilled promises, abandoned dreams, buried hopes, I will wipe away. Not partially, not piece by piece, but a complete cleansing. You will step into a season where the old passes away, and all things are made new. Not by your hand, but by mine through your obedience. You will not need to strive or push. I have already set aside your portion, and no one can take it. What I am about to reveal will bring irreversible change. When I lift you, none can pull you down. When I place you, it will not be a place you must defend in weariness, for I, myself, am the keeper. When I open a door, it is one no man can shut. And you will no longer fear that everything might vanish, for you will know what I give is enduring. This breakthrough is not merely the fruit of a season of prayer, but the culmination of the entire journey you have walked. Every tear, every disappointment, every sigh, all gathered and used as ingredients for something greater. And now, as all has ripened and the appointed time has come, I will unveil it. Not to overwhelm you, but to remind you, every promise I made has its day of fulfillment. You will be called to do things for which no pattern exists. You will rewrite old principles. You will be used to open the way for others. And though you may feel small, you are not alone. I have placed a fire within you, not to keep for yourself, but to spread, not to warm only you, but to ignite a generation. And it will begin tomorrow. My child, prepare. Not by striving harder, but by trusting deeper. Not by doing more, but by resting in the certainty that I am at work. And as you rest in faith, I will move beyond your imagination. What you once thought was the limit will become the beginning. What you once called an ending will reveal itself as only the introduction to something greater. And then you will look back with tears, not of sorrow but of gratitude, and you will say, "How wondrous are the works of the Lord." None could have done this but you, and those around you, even those who doubted, will have no argument left. They will bow not before you, but before the one who chose you, called you, and worked through you. For this breakthrough is not for your glory, but for mine, the Eternal One, the Holy One, the Promise Keeper. Yes, now you are ready, refined in fire, shaped in silence, prepared in the hidden place. And now the light will come upon you, not to expose, but to reveal you. Not to blind, but to lift you. Not to glorify you, but to glorify me through you. The years of obscurity, the seasons unseen and unnamed, I have seen them all. And now is the moment I proclaim what I have long taught you in secret. No stage is needed, no applause required, only a willing heart, and that is you. This unveiling will be supernatural. Yes, supernatural. It cannot be explained by logic, it cannot be dismissed as coincidence, it cannot be attributed to luck. Everything will unfold swiftly, unpredictably, and filled with wonder. You will sit in awe and exclaim, "What have I done to deserve this?" And I will answer, "You obeyed when no one was watching. You were faithful in the small things. You trusted me when there was no clear sign, and this is the reward of steadfastness. Therefore, do not diminish it into something ordinary. Receive it as a miracle, for that is truly what it is. You have sown more than you remember. There are seeds you planted in tears, in disappointment, in fragile faith. There are prayers you have forgotten you once uttered, yet I have never forgotten. Not a single prayer has fallen to the ground without being gathered up. Not one sacrifice has been overlooked. I have kept them all in the heavens of my grace. And now those seeds will break forth, not in the time you expected, but in the perfect time. And then you will know it was I who did it. I am never late, nor am I early. I always come right on time, and now is that time. The things you once dreamed of but thought were far too distant, they are drawing nearer with each passing day. Doors you believed were shut forever, they are resounding, inviting you to step through. Yet you will not enter with hesitation as though unworthy. No, you will enter as one who is called anointed, chosen, and prepared. And you will realize you are no longer who you once were. No longer fearful, no longer bound by perfectionism, no longer straining to please everyone. You are one who walks in certainty, not because you are strong, but because I am faithful. You will marvel at yourself, not with pride, but with awe. You will act upon the prompting of the Spirit without delay. You will speak words of wisdom you never studied. You will give generously without fear of lack. You will love those who wounded you without forcing yourself to forgive. For you no longer live out of the old self, but out of a new identity. And this, my child, cannot be learned from books. It comes only from an encounter with me. Restoration, identity, and revelation, three streams of glory, will not arrive separately. They will weave together, interlacing like golden threads in a tapestry. When one part moves, the others move with it. When a relationship is healed, an idea will be born. When you step into new understanding of who you are, a door will open. When you act in something that seems small, it will become a lever for breakthrough. Everything is connected. Every detail is within my design. Nothing is random. Nothing is wasted. Do not seek the ordinary. Do not confine me to old patterns. I am doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? It has already begun to sprout from within you, from within your circumstances, from within what seemed impossible. And when it happens, remember, do not try to master it. Do not attempt to control it. Simply follow. Like a vessel carried by the current, you need not row against it, only anchor yourself in obedience. I do not need you to understand everything. I only need you to believe. Do not let complexity deceive you. All that I am doing is simple, yet never trivial. I do not require performances. I seek willing hearts. And you, yes, you are good soil for me to plant the new. From you I will raise what has never been seen. From you I will birth a season unlike any before. And you will look back standing amidst a harvest of gold and wonder how it all came to be, without striving, without elaborate strategy. Only trust in my presence. Do not be fooled by today's stillness. In the silence, the earth is shifting. In the quiet, the seed is sprouting. And when the season comes, nothing will be able to stop the harvest. The enemy will try to hinder with distraction, fear, and doubt to make you falter, but you will no longer be easily shaken. For now you know you are not merely one who lives on promise, but one who lives from the promise itself. And remember, my beloved child, this is not a peak followed by decline. This is not a fleeting moment of brilliance destined to fade. This is a new way of life, a long season, not a flash, a journey unbroken. And I will walk with you not only in days of glory, but also in days of silence. Not only in miracles, but in the smallest details. For I am not the God only of great wonders, I am the faithful one in every detail. So walk forward, not with trembling steps, but with decisive steps. Not as one striving for acceptance, but as one already accepted. Not as a stranger, but as a child of the house. Every step you take will echo my words, "This is my child whom I love, in whom I am well pleased." And then when all is revealed, when miracles are no longer what you wait for, but the atmosphere you live in, bow low. Remember the source. Worship not only for what I have done, but for who I am. For every good thing is never the final destination I am. And if your eyes remain fixed on me, you will never lose your way. A new season is no longer in the future, it begins now. It has already touched you. It is flowing through you. And the world will know that there is a living God who acts and who has chosen you as the place to reveal His glory. Now, with a heart longing to hear me offer a prayer holding nothing back, open wide your heart like a door without lock that I may enter. Faithful God, I come to you not with hands full of what I can achieve, but with empty hands for you to fill with what you have promised. I have endured long days that felt meaningless, seasons where I wondered if you remembered my name, but now I know no tear was wasted, no moment in vain. Restore the years the locusts have devoured. Revive what I have buried. Redeem the dreams I once thought mistimed. Let my eyes behold what you are restoring, and my heart be humble enough to receive it without striving, without fear. Breathe new winds upon the old and make my life a dwelling place of miracles. Merciful Father, I have called myself by the names the world gave me: failure, not enough, second place, forgotten one. But today, I choose to believe your words above the world's. Break every false label the enemy has placed upon my life. Clothe me with a new identity in you, child of the King, bearer of light, chosen to transform a generation. Let me walk not by feelings, but by the certainty of the Spirit. And when people look at me, let them not see me, but the one who called me by my true name. O Lord, who never remains silent, I hear your voice not only in miracles, but in the whispering wind, in the murmur of a child, in the overlooked details of life. Open my spiritual ears to recognize your voice each day. Anoint my eyes to see your hand at work, and if I can discern your presence in the small, I will not miss the great. Make me sensitive not to religion, but to true communion with you. God of restoration, I know there are things you will not return as they were, for you do not patch, you make new. Recreate me after the pattern of heaven, no longer bound by past fractures. Restore relationships once broken, not to gratify my emotions, but to fulfill your purpose. Heal me so deeply that I no longer react from wounds, but live from healing. I open wide my heart for you to remake what you desire. Lord, the one who chose me, I do not need more proof, for the signs are already clear. Now I ask you for courage to step out, to act in faith, not waiting for circumstances to be perfect. I renounce spiritual delay. I renounce compromise. Lead me into a journey of breakthrough, not by my plan, but by yours. Even if I feel unready, if you say the time has come, then I will step forward. Heavenly Father of all dreams, I once hid away the visions and dreams that seemed too great for fear of being mocked, misunderstood, or failing. But today I ask you to breathe life into them once more. Teach me to dream again. Teach me to believe that what seems impossible is precisely what you choose to accomplish. And when the doors open, I pray that my heart may remain pure and childlike, never forgetting that it was you who made it happen. God of perfect timing, I have lived in seasons of waiting, and at times the waiting has felt exhausting. But today I choose to believe that every delay is divine arrangement. Train my heart in the waiting so that I will not faint. Strengthen me until the doors swing wide. And when the miracle arrives, grant me the awareness to recognize it not as coincidence but as the faithfulness of God, Almighty and ever near Lord. I pray that the supernatural may become the natural rhythm of my life. Not because I am worthy, but because you have promised. I do not wish only to read about miracles, I long to live among them. I do not wish only to speak of the light, I desire to become that light. Do this through me that my entire life might be a sermon without words. Lord, I know I am not alone. Send the ones who carry the missing pieces. Send companions who walk not for gain but for purpose. Grant me eyes to see those you have appointed and a heart to receive them without doubt. I do not want to walk alone when you have prepared an army to move forward together. Help me to clasp the right hands in the right season. Jesus, who suffered for me, grant me a heart that remains tender, never hardened even in victory. Keep me humble when I am lifted up. Cause me to remember always that every blessing flows from you. And if I may use what you have given to serve others, then I vow to spend my whole life doing so. Thank you, faithful God, for not only hearing my prayers but holding them close in your heart until the appointed time. Thank you that not one of my words falls into the void. Even when I forget, you remember. Even when I lose faith, you are still at work. Today I give thanks for the restoration that has begun, not because I am strong, but because you are good. Thank you that every seeming loss has become a seed for a new season. I thank you, Father, for in a world eager to label me, you call me by my true name. Thank you that you see me not through the lens of my past, but through the promise of my potential. Thank you that my identity is not tied to sin or fear, but to the cross. Thank you for breaking doubt within me and raising me up as a voice crying out in the wilderness. Thank you, God of new beginnings, for the doors that no one else could open, you have opened. For the blessings I dared not ask, you have still bestowed. For the dreams that seemed too vast, you have unveiled. Thank you that I do not need to strive to impress you, for you loved me before I ever acted. Thank you that I live under grace not to remain idle, but to walk into destiny. Lord, I give thanks with trembling, for everything I see today testifies that you have never abandoned me. Thank you for the holiness found in silence, the nearness present in every detail. Thank you that from tomorrow onward my life will never be the same. And wherever I go, whatever I do, I remain yours, and that is the most precious inheritance of all. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and enable notifications so that together we may build a strong community of faith.